Hello class. Today we are going to be learning how to collect like terms. Another phrase that you may hear is combine like terms. Either one you hear, they both mean the same thing. Before we get started on how to solve these problems, there's some key vocabulary that you're going to need to know. For instance, if you're looking at this term 6x, the number out front, which in this case is a 6, is also known as the coefficient. And the letter, which in this case is an x, is known as the variable. When collecting like terms, here is an example of a problem that you may see. It reads 6x plus 3y plus 4x plus 2y. One question you may still have, however, is what is a term? In this case, the terms in the problem above are 6x, 3y, 4x, and 2y. Before we go any further on solving this problem, there's an important note that you must keep in mind. If there is no coefficient in front of the variable, the coefficient is known as 1. For example, if you see just the letter v, you know that you could also write it as 1v. Now we're going to take a look at our first example for solving these types of problems where we're either combining like terms or collecting like terms. So referring back to our example before, we have 6x plus 3y plus 4x plus 2y. When combining like terms, you don't need to look at the coefficients first, rather you need to look at the variables first. When looking at the variables, we could see that there are two x's and there are two y's. For instance, we have 6x plus 4x and we have 3y plus 2y. Once you've noticed the variables that are in common, you will then add their coefficients together. When you combine 6x plus 4x, you get 10x, and when you combine 3y plus 2y, you get 5y. Therefore, your final answer when collecting like terms should be 10x plus 5y. You cannot do anything else with that problem because there are two different variables, so you leave it as is. Let's take a look at one more example on how to collect like terms. This time we're going to use the example 7n minus 4p plus 8 minus 10n. Once again, we want to recognize the terms that have the same variable. In this case, we have 7n and negative 10n. Then we have a negative 4p, but as you can see, there are no other p's. And then we also have a positive 8, which as you can see, we have no other whole numbers in this problem as well. The next thing we're going to want to do is combine the coefficients of the terms with like variables. In this case, there was only one set of like variables, and that was 7n and negative 10n. When we combine 7n minus 10n, we're left with a negative 3n. And then we just bring down the other terms from the problem, which was negative 4p and a positive 8. Therefore, our final answer for this problem is negative 3n minus 4p plus 8. As you could see, we can't do anything else with this problem because each of the terms has a different variable, and the last term doesn't even have a variable. So you just leave this as is. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful in teaching you how to collect like terms.